Hey everybody, it's Alika Lifty, and today let's brew our Guatemala Finca Isnul washed Pacamara as a filter offering. This is another great Pacamara offering. We're releasing 2 Pacamaras this week, one from Guatemala, one from El Salvador. We're going to use the same brew method, the Stag X dripper for both of these. This is a very different Pacamara expression. What I think of this coffee from Finca Isnul is that we get a lot more of the farm influence, the terroir influence, if you will, on this Pacamara, rather than processing and varietal influence. This Pacamara is going to be very citrus, very nutty, and a little bit chocolatey. Very traditional Guatemalan coffee, if you could think of it that way, except very bright in that citric quality. So really nice acidity, really nice texture that's a little bit more rich in texture than we get from the higher elevation Pacamara from El Salvador. This Finca Isnul is really great. Isnul is consistently scoring very high in the Guatemala Cup of Excellence, and we experience really high quality coffee right here. But there's a little bit more sweetness and texture in this coffee, so our recipe is going to be a little bit bigger. We're going to do essentially our Kalita Wave recipe, but in the Stag X. So Stag X, I've given a few tips as to how to keep it from clogging from that paper filter, blocking those holes, and then filling up with fines so that no water passes through those holes. Instead of putting our filter straight in, got a jar of secrets over here. Little metal beads. So I'm going to toss these into my brewer. This is what we call the bean hack. Ray Murakawa of the Mellow Drip over in LA popularized the bean hack. I don't actually know if he originated it, but he's the guy I saw do it first. You can do this with coffee beans. Whole beans aren't going to extract very much throughout your extraction. I like these metal beads because they retain heat really well, and they are even, level, same size. You can do this 3, 4, 5 beads, it doesn't matter. I don't know, I've got like 10 in here. It's not going to be that big a deal. But this is going to keep our filter from sagging and clogging those holes at the bottom of our Stag X, which means we can grind more finely and brew even faster due to this tall column here in our Stag X. So this recipe, even though it's our standard Kalita Wave recipe, it's going to drain much faster, and each of these pulses are going to get consecutively more quick than when we do it on the Kalita Wave. First things first, let's wet our paper filter. Neat thing about the beads is that this filter isn't sagging in between those beads even, it's just straight level across the whole thing. Let's dump our water. All right, so we'll be using 25 grams of coffee, ground medium fine. This kind of smells like I just cracked open a pint of butter pecan ice cream. That was very fragrant when I opened that up. So 25 grams of coffee, medium fine. I ground this on 20 on my Comandante C40. This will be around 38 on the Niche Zero, and this is going to be around 10 on your Baratza Encore. So 400 grams of water, 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Really standard stuff. I'm going to start my timer. I'm going to bloom 50 grams of water. Just wet all those grounds, let it do its thing. While it saturates, I'm going to dump my preheat water. You can dump it in a plant. I mean, you can drink it. Then here at 30 seconds, I'm going to punch it in the middle, spiral up. I should be at 160 when I'm finished. Careful not to overflow your brewer. My coffee is very fresh. Hopefully yours doesn't foam quite so much. There we go, 160. And then at 50 seconds, I'm going to pour up to 220. Essentially, I'm going to be maintaining this high brew bed or water bed to keep our flow quick and running through this whole thing. Here at 105, boom, let's pour it up to 280. Then around 125, all the way up to 340. Now scratch that, I'm going at 120. This is draining fast today. Spirals, got a flat brew bed. I want to pour evenly so that I extract evenly. And here at 140, I'm going to finish this off, pouring up to 400 grams total. There we go. Let it drip, drip, drip. If we drain too fast, then it's gonna be really tart. It's gonna be like unroasted nuts. If we grind it too fine and this drains really, really slow, then it's going to overpower. It's gonna be really bitter, like the dregs of black tea, and that acidity is gonna become kind of like cough syrup. All right, quite honestly, this has drained a little faster than I thought it should. I was shooting 2.5 minute drain time, but let's actually see how this tastes. Sometimes things don't go the way we plan. Whew. Like I said, this coffee was very fresh. So it could just be a little unpredictable. It still smells great, really sweet, because when we're balanced, it tastes like honeyed almonds, lemonade, and tangerine. With a finish of black tea. See, this is okay. It's a little light in body. I think your grind sizer is still gonna be fine, but expect a 2.5 minute drain time. This is like just on the edge. It is bright lemonade, tangerine, but I'm missing kind of that black tea and that texture. Still a really excellent cup of coffee. Serve and enjoy.